Lions fans, and welcome to episode 23 of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland, and I am joined by my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. Adam, how you doing after we wrap up this season and head into the playoffs here?
I mean, it was the goal. The goal was to win the division and go to the playoffs, I think, this year. And they did it. And I'm happy about that. Going into the playoffs, I mean, there's a lot of stuff at play here. And we'll talk about it. It's a mix between stuff that happened during the Vikings game and the game we got coming next week with a former player coming back to Detroit. Like, we got a lot. There's a lot emotionally there.
Yep. And yeah, as you can tell, I am in a different room. I'll have set up more for hopefully next time, but yeah. But let's move on here. On today's show, we're going to go over the Lions Week 18 end of the season win against the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to probably chat about should have the Lions rested some players. What are the outcomes of some of the players getting injured? And then we're going to look ahead at the wild card game against Matthew Stafford coming home and the Los Angeles Rams. See how that game turns out here. But first, we want to thank you for checking out our podcast, whether that's on the YouTube channel or on your podcast platform of choice. You can find the World of Football and its many offerings on multiple social media platforms. Just check down in the description. And now, let's get into this Week 17 win against the Minnesota Vikings. So we had Lions 30, Vikings 20. Overall, I'm not even going to call it the Vikings anymore. I'm just going to call it the Justin Jefferson show over there, because that's who scored the points for him and controlled that Vikings team. But overall, we had Detroit, with the exception of Justin Jefferson, kind of dominating the game, 30-20. Just going to run through some stats here real quick. Some important milestones hit. Jared Goff, 23, 32 for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 receptions, 144 yards, and one touchdown. For the season, he had over 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, but didn't hit the Pro Bowl. So I got screwed on that.
Absolute snub.
Yeah, and then another big milestone. Josh Reynolds, kind of the man, doing everything for the Lions, blocking, receiving, all that stuff. Five receptions, 44 yards. He did hit a $250,000 bonus hit on his yards. Could have hit another one for another $250,000 for a touchdown, but Goff tried, but didn't happen this game. But at least and at the end of the game, they didn't take any knees. They force-fed Josh Reynolds to make sure that he got at least one of his bonus hits. So
yeah, I was wondering about that at the end of the game, because they were just throwing, bubble screens to Josh Reynolds, and I was just like, they just keep throwing it to Reynolds. Like, I haven't heard his name most of the game. Now all of a sudden he's got like 3 catches in a row, and I was like, oh, he's probably got some sort of bonus attached to this, and lo and behold, he got his $250,000.
Yeah, so yeah, I think this Detroit Lions coaching staff, being all former players, really big of them to make sure that one of the players on their team hits their bonuses instead of taking a knee to kneel it out. So yeah, good on the Lions for that. Then on the Vikings side, couple of key players here. Nick Mullins, 30 of 44 for 396 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Justin Jefferson, another career day, 12 receptions, 192 yards, and 1 touchdown. Total yards, Lions 381, Vikings 448 yards. Time of possession, Lions 25 minutes and 1 second. Vikings 34 minutes and 59 seconds. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
with
real quick, real quick though. I want to mention, Nick Mullins. You know, I think the dudes look pretty good starting there for Minnesota. Um, Obviously, I think he played a little better in this game than a couple weeks ago when he played against Detroit. But man, he threw some bad interceptions at the worst absolute time. Like
yeah,
he was a little more loose that last game, just kind of with the 4 interceptions, and that cost Minnesota dearly. Here, I thought he kept him in it. Between him and Justin Jefferson, who I'll say it again, Justin Jefferson, watching him play for the Vikings is like watching Megatron back in the day. This dude's gonna get his. It doesn't matter. A CD Lamb, those type of guys are gonna get theirs against this defense. And you know, I can't hate Justin Jefferson. The dude's an athlete. He made all those catches look effortless. And I want to give him credit. But Nick Mullins, he doesn't throw those 2 crucial interceptions. We might be talking about a different result here. So
yeah. But apparently, everyone on X is saying after the game, Justin Jefferson told Amon-Ra to make sure to get Jefferson on the Lions next year. So we'll
yeah,
see.
I don't know if I believe it or not. I wish, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, they got too many guys they need to pay next couple years, and Jefferson pricing at or asking price is just going to be through the roof. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's not going to happen.
If his
So
deal's even up with Minnesota, I don't think it is, but
yeah, I
I
think
could be
he's got
wrong.
another year or so. They'll probably
Yeah.
they can't come to a deal. They'll probably franchise tag him and stuff like
Oh yeah,
that.
they'll do everything they can to keep him.
Yeah, sucks for him. But all right, let's jump into this first topic here. Um, I know a lot of people over on X, Twitter, and all that are um, asking why didn't we rest the starters, especially after Laporta went down with a knee injury. Um, then you had Raymond go down with another injury. St. Brown getting a dirty hit there. Um, I'll just throw it out there. For me, I don't think um, Dan Campbell wants to rest players like that, especially even though there's like a small chance of the number 2 seed if the Eagles and Cowboys lose, which the Eagles, I don't know what the heck they're doing, but they are falling down on their feet.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys kind of lost it on the first half of that game, so there's a little chance of hope there. But yeah, especially someone like Raymond. If they would have sat St. Brown, guess who would have been out there? Raymond. So
Yeah.
I think having St. Brown out there kind of cut them snaps both in half to where each of them got less playing time versus Raymond getting a bunch of playing time, having a bigger chance of getting hurt there. So,
That's a good way of looking at it.
yeah.
I just
And
I
Laporte,
just think oh go for it.
yeah, with Laporta, like it sucks he got hurt. There's a little small chance he might be able to go this week. We'll have to see with the injury report coming out next couple days. But like last year when they got rid of golly, he plays for the Vikings now, but
Hawkinson.
he's hurt. Yeah, they got rid of Hawkinson. They had um, other tight ends come in, did pretty good job. Brock Wright, main guy there. Sounds like he's coming back this week, so I know losing the Florida's really sucks, but I don't think Lions are gonna fall over on their feet losing Laporta like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think last year they were able to make it work with guys like Nick Wright and Mitchell. We dogged on him last week for that missed 2 point conversion
oh
catch.
yeah,
But he had a decent catch in this game, and I'm not saying he's the answer at all. But if he can keep, progressing and, improving, I mean, he'll be another guy that you like having there as your second string, third string tight end, and getting right back would be great. But I think the Lions got enough weapons to where, we should get Jameson Williams back.
yep,
We should, be all right there. Amon-Ra, we'll see. He's a pretty tough dude, so I think he'll go no matter what. So I think we'll be fine. I'm not going to lose my mind over. And the injury is very similar to what Travis Kelce dealt with before that Lions game this year. Didn't play in that game, but the same type of hyperextended bone bruised knee. Uh, he was out for 10 days. It happened 2 days before a game. He was out for 10 days and he played in the game after that. Laporta, you got about a week, which who knows? That could be the razor thin margin right there of, hey, he'll be ready to go. Or maybe if we make it to the next round, maybe he's ready for the game after that. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't want him to take permanent damage, so if it
Oh
means not
yeah,
having him for the playoffs, then I am okay with that. Like, it is what it is.
yeah. The only thing I want to add to this, I mean, it's the end of the season. People are hurt, so I mean, if he's like 80%, I say get out there. But yeah, I don't want like a career-ending injury to happen if he does decide to play against the Rams. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And just
but
as far as Campbell's philosophy though, and not resting guys. Look, I get. Would we be kicking ourselves if he didn't? You know, like if there was a shot and like the Cowboys did end up losing to the Commanders and the Eagles' result was
yeah,
what it was, and the Lions didn't do that, and we're like, well, we could have gotten the, you know, number 2 seed if Campbell would have just played. Like it would have been the other way around if that would have happened. So I think
yeah,
Campbell did what he took the chance, and he played the game like you're supposed to play it, and I think the Lions will be better for it, having some of those guys out there getting those reps as opposed to going into the playoff game. Sure, maybe they got rest, but there's rust to that. You get rest and rust together. You know, football is a very condition-oriented sport. To get out there on the field and to keep your body in that condition consistently is important, I think, to team success. It's possible, you know, we've seen teams have buys and they go on to win the Super Bowl. We've seen teams have buys and lose round one, like that first game back. So it just depends on the mentality of your team. And clearly, the mentality of this Detroit Lions team that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built is we're going to go out there. And if there's any sort of thing on the line for this game, we are going to go out there and try to achieve it. And they did. They went out there and they did what they were supposed to do. It just didn't work out that the Commanders suck and couldn't, you know, take care of the Cowboys at home. So it is what it is. But we're 12-5 for the 12 wins for the first time since I was 2 years old, and so I don't even remember that. This is the first time I am cognizantly seeing and appreciating the fact that we won 12 games in a season. And I won't fault Dan Campbell for that. He's a gutsy guy. It might bite us in the butt sometimes, but there's times where think of all the times where his gut has helped us, like going for it on fourth down, the fake punts, the fake, all that stuff. I mean, that's how this team is going to live and die by. So I'm okay with letting guys out there.
yeah. Like you said, if they would have rested people, Cowboys, Eagles lose, um, and the Lions lost, the social media platform would have blown up. It it would have been a bad time for Detroit fans and Dan Campbell. So
This fan base is toxic anyway. We're going to talk about our toxic fan base later anyway. Like, I mean, every fan base has got that little corner that's just toxic crybabies and just gatekeepers of their team fandom. And it doesn't matter. There's going to be people who are going to come out no matter what the Lions do, good or bad. They're going to, you know, rain on the parade. And look, I get it. I've been critical. You've been critical. It's because we love this team. But, I mean, we can also sit here and enjoy what we're seeing. And I know I called them frauds at one point, and here we are. We're in the playoffs, North Division champs, and they proved me wrong. And I'm happy they proved me wrong. Like, why can't we just move on?
yeah, it'll be a good feeling when they win against the Rams next week. But we'll
We'll
talk
get
about
there,
that in a
Kyle. We'll
bit.
get there. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. God, we got time. What's
The
next?
only other thing, I don't want to kind of keep this short here. Gibbs last couple of games, I don't know what they're drawing up for him, but these slow developing plays against a fast defense does not work for Gibbs. Like you just need to give him the ball and just let him cut up the middle or run off to the side. Stop trying to pull everyone to set up these long drawn running plays because lately it hasn't been working for him. So I hope offensive coordinator realizes that and stop doing these slow developing plays against these fast defenses like Cowboys and uh, Vikings defense here. So,
I'm
and
hoping with some of the play calling, because look, I do think in the running game it's like weird the way they've kind of flip flop, where it used to be everything they did in the running game was right, and the passing game is like, why are we doing this passing cute crap? Lately, it has seemed a little bit like, why are we doing this running crap when all this passing stuff has been working? And I just think that Gibbs, the Lions have been doing this all season long, where in game you see them kind of setting up to do something later in the game, like the whole reporting eligible thing. They were setting it up to do that at some point during the game. I'm wondering if they're setting up a lot of stuff here going into a playoffs, like, oh hey look, the Lions like doing this, and they do it a lot, and we get to the playoffs, it's going to be a totally different scheme. I won't say a whole scheme because that's hard to change, but I think their play calling will be vastly different. I hope so. Knock on wood, because like now it'll be they expect us to do certain things with Gibbs, and now we're going to totally flip the script and we're going to throw something at you that you didn't see coming because we didn't do it at all during the regular season. I'm hoping that's what they're doing. That they have been setting up for moments like this, changing up a couple of things that kind of made us pull our hair out watching some of these games. Like, why are we doing this? Why aren't we running Jamison Williams on more end arounds? Why aren't we running Gibbs out of the backfield more? Like, I think they'll figure it out. I hope. I have faith in Ben Johnson to hopefully put together a good offensive game plan against that defense next week.
yeah, and also on that note, Montgomery did hit 1,000 rushing yards, so congrats
Yes,
to
he
him.
did.
I know Gibbs needed like 70 yards rushing, fell a little short on that. So, but the way he's
But
playing this year, um, outstanding player, and
and both of them getting the 1,000 scrimmage yards. I mean,
yeah,
all purpose yards. I think is what I meant. Like, heck of an achievement by two running backs, and it just shows you like the way they've been using both of them. It's not just. I mean, they primarily use Montgomery as a 5 yards in a cloud of dust type of running, and Gibbs is just you let those slow developing plays happen, and he makes everything else happen around him. Like he finds the hole, the seam, and makes the big play. And I so it's nice having a couple of backs like that to really balance each other out. I just wish and I hope that Ben Johnson takes advantage of that in the postseason.
yep. Which yeah, I think he will because I haven't really I've noticed lately that they don't really use Montgomery a lot. It seems like they use Gibbs a little more, so maybe flip
I,
flop there. But
Maybe I think some games it's very Gibbs heavy, and some games it's Ben Montgomery heavy. It just depends on that defense. Um, so we'll see. Like this season, remember when we started off, Kyle, many weeks ago when it was the Montgomery show, and everybody was like, "Well, where's Gibbs? We want Gibbs
oh
out
yeah,
there." And then guess what? We got a little bit of Gibbs, we got a little bit of Montgomery. Everybody happy. Like nobody complained no more. I mean, I still would like to see a little more Gibbs, but I think they have found where they kind of want to balance them out, and it's very situational based when we actually see him because. But even then, I think they're not utilizing him properly. Like I said, I would love to see more Gibbs going and running it to the outside. How many plays have we seen him get to the outside and he makes something happen? So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I have confidence that they're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink to win this playoff game this week.
yeah. Which yeah, I expect nothing less from Campbell and the crew there.
Oh, I bet.
But
Oh, they're installing stuff in Allen Park this week. I guarantee you that the Rams haven't seen yet.
yeah. So let's move on to this next discussion here. Um, couple defensive players came back. Liam McNeil, um, Gardner Johnson came back. So with that being said, uh, I don't know if they're. I know Gardner Johnson during a press conference said I didn't come back to be in a rotation. So I think they're probably going to have him start. Kind of have Iffy and Kirby Joseph in a rotation. but with high-powered wide receivers like Jefferson yesterday, now you're gonna face the Rams with Cup and um, Puka Nakua. Um, I think they
Gesundheit.
need to have three, if they can work it out, have three safeties over top. That way you have Iffy, Kirby, and Gardner Johnson out there at the same time. Because just the way I don't know if they're planning like having Sutton on an island covering these high powered wide receivers, but you get him covering someone like Cup or Nakua, he's gonna get torched, especially with like Stafford throwing the ball to him. So hopefully Aaron Glenn has a plan set in place. But yeah, I don't think anyone watching this game coming up wants to see this happen. So
This has got to be Aaron Glenn's best coached game of his career. I'm just going to throw that
yeah,
out there. This defense has been torched all season long, pretty much, by uh, the receivers for other teams. You know, how many times have we heard somebody almost having 200 yards receiving against the Lions this year? Too frequent for me. And even early in the season, like a Mike Evans probably should have had a bigger game than he ended up having if it weren't for a couple of overthrows by Baker Mayfield. But this has got to be the best coaching, the best scheming he has ever done. And uh, otherwise, we are in for a long day with those receivers, especially for the Rams.
yeah, it'll
And as far
be
and as far as CD Deuce coming back, it was good seeing him back. I was okay with his first game back being more of a rotational role. We'll see what they do this week. I'm sure the Lions will change it up scheme wise. Your plan for three safeties, I think it's a little. I mean, it sounds good in theory. I don't know how feasible that is. Uh, I don't know. I would like to see Hutchinson and that defensive line, not have to blitz as much as they have, like, or at least bringing 5 or 6 guys.
oh
I would
yeah,
love to see them get home with 4, maybe even 3, if you could, allow somebody out into coverage. As much as I hate our linebackers going into coverage, but getting Aleem McNeil back, his presence was immediately felt. I felt like on that defensive line, they got a lot of pressure in the middle because of him. I think it opened up a lot of stuff. It's just a matter of still those guys not getting home. It's Hutchinson going way too far outside, doing those cute little spin moves. I mean, yeah, he got his 3 sacks, so good game for Hutch. But I'm tired of seeing Hutchinson like out there pinwheeling around, you know, and like blown by a quarterback. It gets real old being like, dude, like just throw a guy and get to the quarterback, please, instead of going to the next county over and having to come back and just being out of the play. Like he gets the pressure, but then he over pursues. That's my big problem right now is the over pursuit of like the edge. But if we can nail that down or have a linebacker right behind Hutch to fill in that gap, that's all I'm asking. Have a Barnes who can finally wrap somebody up, as I saw the practice drills of him wrapping up tackling dummies finally.
oh, yeah.
Just tell him to go in at Stafford like that this week. Just send him behind Hutch and wrap Stafford up, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. Um, but yeah, like you're saying, they can't afford to send 5 or more people on a blitz because Stafford will eat, eat them up if they do that all day. So
They got to do some more disguising. I don't know how well the Lions have been at disguising stuff. I would love to see the whole, and they talked about this during the game, how the Vikings were like the best team in the NFL at bringing blitz and fake blitz, like showing a blitz and then
oh
pulling
yeah,
out of it. And they brought that stat up, and I was like, why can't Detroit do that more? Like, it seems like whenever we show blitz, we blitz. I've never seen it where we show blitz and we back out. And we have to, like I said, even Aaron Glenn has to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this Rams offense this week.
yep. But we already talked about Reynolds hitting an incentive rather than just kneeling it out. So let's
Anything else
go
from this
ahead.
game?
What?
Anything else from this game?
Um,
Because I do have one more thing I want to quickly mention from the Vikings game.
uh,
I want to
except for
shout
like,
out. Go for
yeah,
it.
go
What?
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to shout out the special teams this week. It's the best the special teams looked in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I mean, a lot of great returns, and Jack Fox just chef's kiss, getting that ball down there in a great couple of spots. Flipping field position, and we're going to need that. That is going to be a crucial thing in the postseason. And I can feel it. They're teeing up Jack Fox for another. Oh, I have to bleep myself out for another. I better write that down. Another, fake punt pass. We gotta get Jack Fox ready for that against the Rams, like he did the last time we played the Rams.
Yeah, we'll see. It sounds like if Raymond's probably going to be out this game, so it sounds like maybe Donovan People-Jones is going to receive some kickoffs or punt returns. So we'll see what their game plan is for that. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to add to this game?
Trying to think. I think Ford Field sounded loud. I can't imagine what it's going to sound like when we're there next week for a playoff game. But Ford Field sounded loud. It was great to hear. The banner, they put up the banner this week. I want to mention
Oh,
that real
yeah.
quick. Looked great, even though I thought it was AI generated when I saw the Facebook post by the Lions. It did not look real. I don't know if it was the filter they used or just the angle. It just didn't look real, but it was. And shout out to our Pro Bowlers. I know we didn't have this on the docket, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lions did have 5 guys selected to the starting Pro Bowl roster, right? I believe it
Yeah,
was 5.
5.
Because you had Sam Laporta, rookie tight end going, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, Aiden Hutchinson, and Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Kind of a surprise there
Yeah.
in terms of special teams. And obviously, I think we had 7 or 11 alternates. I don't have that list,
7.
but
7.
7 alternates. And Amon-Ra was on that list, but still, to be robbed, the dude had an amazing season and got robbed of a Pro Bowl's, vote or whatever. So it is what it is. Give Amon-Ra all the fuel because he'll take it and he'll just get better. So I just wanted to throw
Yeah.
that out there before we go into the big topic this week.
Yeah. And the number 1 draft pick by the Lions, Gibbs, made the first alternative running back as well. So congrats to
Right.
him.
And I want to
Well,
say then that also means Montgomery. I think Montgomery got snubbed. He had a great season. I think he got snubbed.
I thought he made it, but
Montgomery
I
not as a starter or I don't know if he was an alternate, but I still think he got snubbed.
think he made it as an alternative, but it was pretty like 7th alternative or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll have to look
out of
at
here
it.
with that trash. 7th alternate. Get out of here.
All right, let's move on here. I'm gonna preview the wild card weekend. Lions are facing the Rams. Um, June 14th, Sunday at 8:15 p.m. Another primetime game for the Lions, who are 4-1 right now for primetime games. So
Yeah,
favors in the Lions
I
right
know.
now.
I
The
think the Lions are
Rams
favored by 3 points.
3.5, I think.
3.5.
Yeah. But the Rams did play yesterday against the 49ers. Rams basically sat um, Stafford, Cup, some of their high-powered players. So they ended up winning 21 to 49ers. They also sat their players to 20. So Rams came out with a win. But I'm going to throw this to you, Adam. What are some key things the Lions need to watch out for this game? I know we discussed a little bit there about some of the
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff we kind of talked about. The Lions got to watch out for those receivers. Like Puka Nacua, Rookie of the Year candidate. He got his big rookie record, you want to call it. Yeah, his record.
Yep.
Then they pulled him from the game. Uh, it's storylines galore. I mean, we'll talk about the storylines, I'm sure. But schematic wise, I can't wait to see this Lions offensive line against that Rams defensive line. You know, it's come a
Yeah.
long way since the last time these two teams battled. Penei Sewell was a brash young rookie going up against Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive linemen ever, one of the best football players ever to play the game, and held his own. And that was 7 weeks into his career as a Detroit Lion. And now here we are. He's a Pro Bowler twice over, and I can't wait to see that matchup. And because Penei Sewell has just been out of this world awesome. So I'm hoping a lot of stuff there. That's a big matchup I'm also curious about because we have to protect Goff. That's going to be a big thing. If Goff can get some time, I think he can have as much success as Stafford would against our backs because they're kind of the same. Very similar defenses because I feel like the Rams defense, they allow points.
Yeah.
They're not a whole lot of names on that defensive, backfield that I can name. Granted, I don't watch a lot of Rams games, but they seem very similar in that regard, where you can get it over the top. It's just a matter of can we scheme to stop that? Can we get the pressure? Can they get the pressure? And I think that's where the game's going to come down to is that. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if the defenses can't get home, it's going to be a high scoring game, but the passing defense for the Rams are ranked worse than the Lions right now. So,
That's surprising.
and I think the run game, stopping the run game for the Rams is also kind of trickling up there. But yeah, I should give Goff plenty of opportunity to throw the ball down the field. Um, get Montgomery the ball, give Gibbs the ball, let them run. But yeah, other than that, for our defense, make sure we're doubling up, disguise some blitzes, coverages, or whatever for Cup and Nakua because I don't. I think it would be very disappointing to see Stafford just slice and dice this defense up and just come out with a massive victory over the Lions this week. It's going to be a tough pill if that does happen for everyone to swallow. So, yeah.
Look, I think the Lions have played a lot of very, very bend, break a little bit defense. Let's make no fuss about it. Those number one
Yeah.
receivers, Cup's probably going to get his. Nakua's probably going to get his. But one of them. I think the Lions will be able to shut down one of them. I don't know if they'll shut down both of them. But I think the Lions will scheme something up. It won't be perfect. But they're going to scheme something up to at least not allow, I think, the same thing that's been happening. Because I don't think of Cup and Nakua as an over-the-top threat. I think of them more of like an amon-ra, where if they get a ball in a crossing route, they're going to make a play. That's where it's going to burn us. And our defensive backs have been terrible at positioning themselves to stop a 5-yard catch from turning into a 40-yard gain. And what receivers do that better than anybody in the NFL right now than Cup and Nakua? Amon-Ra's the only other one I can think of. I'm sure there's a couple of speedy guys, especially some guys over there in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill, and I'm sure there's other guys I'm forgetting. So I'm not saying it's a rare thing, but Cup and Nakua are two of the best guys to do it. And our Lions defense, unfortunately, is very good at letting that happen. So they got to nip that in the butt.
Yeah.
Don't go putting Anzalone out there on an island with Cooper Cup. I don't want to see that. Not when Cup's
Or
coming across the middle. I don't want to see Anzalone covering him. I mean, God, that's the last thing I want.
I mean, I'd rather see that than a lineman trying to run out there and try to cover someone. I saw that
I
a
guess,
few
and
times.
I guess I'd rather see that also than Will Harris going out there and covering somebody. So
But yeah, and also I don't know if they just don't like block or covering tight ends, but that Vikings game, that one tight end they have, he was just wide open left and right. So
it was yeah. That I don't know why that kept happening. Like they got a tight end out there. Why aren't you having somebody in coverage? It'd be one thing to let him that play happen, but you stop it 2 or 3, 4 yards into the play. Every time it was like 7, 8, 9, 10 because
yeah,
they were focused on the defensive back, and it was just all this empty space where it was like that play where Decker got out, block, 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 get open, or Laporta's touchdown where he fell down, stood up, and he was wide open in the end zone for Goff to throw it to him. yesterday, but I don't know. They got to do something because Tyler Higbee is not a slouch either. He's a good tight end. You got to account for him too. So the Lions got a lot of stuff to worry about this week, and that's all the stuff on the field. Off the field, can we get into the stories finally? Can we do it? Or you got something else?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know.
All right.
What is it?
Obviously, the big story: Jared Goff going up against his former team. This is the Jared Goff revenge game. Obviously, also Stafford coming to Detroit for the first time. The full circle moment of the trade. And the Rams getting their Super Bowl, and now here the Lions are playing that team in their first ever playoff game at Ford Field. It's a great story. As a Stafford fan, and I am a Stafford fan, it is a cool thing to see. And I know there's a lot of discourse on all the social media right now about don't wear your Stafford jerseys to the game. You put those Detroit Rams shirts away. It's like, yeah, but don't go telling fans to not wear their Stafford jersey. Look, dude, like I have a Stafford jersey. I'm not wearing it to the game. I don't wear player jerseys to the game. I wear the jersey with my name on it. But I hate this gatekeeping crap where people are telling like you got to boo Stafford when you're at the game. It's like, well, one, nobody has to do anything. Two, when kickoff happens, you're gonna bet I'm gonna boo Stafford. You're gonna boo Stafford probably as soon as kickoff happens. But before the game, when he comes out, I'm not gonna boo him. He did a lot for the city of Detroit. He did a lot for this team. And the fact that fans are just so, I get it. They want to be in that mentality of like, it's us against them, as it should be. Fair. But Stafford did do a lot. It's his first game back in Detroit, and it's a playoff game in Detroit, something he never helped happen. But it's not all on him. He had a crappy organization around him throughout his entire career here. And it was essentially his trade, well, shortly after getting Holmes and Campbell, Sheila, taking over. That was one of the first things that happened was his trade, which started this domino effect to where we are now. So we have to thank Stafford for, hey, thanks for going to the organization, getting us those couple of draft picks that turned into Jameson Williams, turned into Penei Sewell, and I'm sure other guys, there's a whole list. I don't have it in front of me, but there's a whole list of acquisitions that happened because of Stafford. We got Jared Goff, who has revitalized his career in Detroit here. And I think there's a lot to thank Stafford for. But yes, at kickoff, he is public enemy number one. We will boo him. We will, probably have to pull our hair out when there's a roughing the passer call that is not a roughing the passer call because Aiden Hutchinson just didn't throw out the air mattress for Matthew Stafford to fall onto during a play. Like, we're going to boo the crap out of Stafford for that. Like, and I'm sure we're going to boo the refs. But other than that, I have no beef with Stafford. He is coming in as the opposing quarterback. It's a great story. But the game's the game, and I want the Lions to win. You want the Lions to win. We all want the Lions to win. And it'll be even more sweet if it's against Matt Stafford. But he's going to be a problem. Let's not mince words like you said. He might be able to carve us up. I don't know if we're going to win. I don't know if we're going to lose. But, I mean, it's going to be a heck of a game, I think, regardless. And the storylines, all that. Brad Holmes coming from the Rams organization. Josh Reynolds, former Ram, playing against his former team. I think this is going to be a lot. I'm shocked that the NFL didn't make this the Monday night game, to be honest with you. But the Sunday night game is, a good spot too, and we're gonna be there for it. And it's gonna be crazy. I can't wait.
Yeah, I expect it to be loud, so I think I'm actually gonna bring earplugs for this one because it's gonna be
it's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be really loud.
Yes, it will.
I just want to, before we end this, I want to ask you one question.
Are you going to boo Stafford? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll actually be lively during this game.
I'll have to get video of it just to prove that it happened.
But I want to ask you a question real quick. Do you think this is going to get in Goff's head facing against McVay, or do you think it'll get into Stafford's head facing against the Lions, his old team, if screw ups start happening?
I think there's probably a little bit. You can't not know the storylines. Kelly Stafford already posted an 8-minute video. I think it's the same one after Stafford left. Of him thanking Detroit. So I think a little bit of that's going to creep in, his love for Detroit. But I do think at the end of the day, and then for Goff, the same thing. Goff's issues with the Rams and his, unceremonious exit from that organization. I think it'll creep in a little bit this week, but I think when you get down to it, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're going to be buttoned up. Goff has been pretty decent all year about bouncing back from stuff. I think it's another game for them. And the storylines are the storylines, and we're going to eat all that crap up. I think them, though, it might go through their mind. I think Stafford especially, it'll definitely be relevant all week. But I think for Goff, he's 3 years removed. He's a different quarterback, different player. And I think I think Goff will be fine. If the Rams get the pressure on him and he gets rattled a little bit, maybe that starts sinking in like, this is why the Rams didn't want him. Maybe. I'm not going to say that's – I can't – I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a psychic. I can't tell you what's happening in Goff's head. All I'll tell you is he's not going to let it affect him on purpose. Like, he's going to go out there and try to win this game. He wants to kick some Ram butt, and I want him to.
Yeah.
There he is.
On that
Mr.
defensive
Goff.
front. Yeah, jeez. But on that Rams defensive front, like their defense, I couldn't name one person except for Aaron Donald. So I think Goff being in the pocket with our offensive line, the way they're playing, I think he's just going to should be comfortable all game. So, yeah, I think
we'll see. They're going to get home. Aaron Donald's going to get home at some point, but I think our offensive line won't make it easy on him.
Yeah.
But I also expect McVay to bring a corner blitz. I expect him to bring a safety down and do something like that. So we'll have to just wait and see. And hopefully Goff, I think, did a really good job at recognizing most of that. I think he only got sacked once in the last game. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it.
I would call it a sack. I think a defensive player fell down and hit Goff on the way down.
So, if it counted as a sack, it's a sack. But I thought for the most part he recognized the Viking pressure, which is one of the better defenses, at least schematically, in the league. Brian Flores, I thought, did a great job of the Vikings defense. But as long as Goff can also see that, because there's been games where I'm just like, he looks lost out there, like rolling around, and sometimes the running backs aren't picking up that extra blocker. I think Montgomery and Gibbs have had good games where they've done that and bad games. That last game was a good game where I thought that the running backs definitely picked up that extra blocker beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
Dallas, maybe not so much.
I think Gibbs did
I've seen them both do it.
Pretty good job.
So
yeah.
If they can do that, I think Goff will be fine. Then it'll be a matter of, is he putting the ball where he needs to? Like, we don't need the interceptions like against the Cowboys. Be smart with the ball. I thought he made some smart throws, just getting it away. Throw it out of bounds, completely out of bounds, not barely out of bounds, so that a defender can pick it off, right there. So, we'll see. It should be interesting.
Yep, it'll be interesting. 8 o'clock at night, Sunday, so if you have the next day off, make sure to watch it, or call in sick or whatever. So definitely don't want to miss this game.
And I know you're anxious to wrap this show up because you got to get ready for a big national championship game tonight. Your Wolverines are playing. I can't wait to watch it. If you want to come over and watch it on the big TV, you can come over. My big old 75-inch and my surround sound.
I got surround sound.
You're more than welcome. I know you're taking a half day tomorrow, so.
We'll see how they play. All right, let's go ahead and close it out. So go ahead.
All right, guys. We appreciate you for checking out our show. Our first show of 2024, right? This is the first one we've done?
Yeah.
I believe this is.
So, yeah.
But, we appreciate you guys checking out our show. Please come back for more. Also, be sure to visit our website, theworldoffootball.com, for news, links, upcoming events, articles, videos, blah, 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 all that stuff. You can also hit us up on info@theworldoffootball.com if you want to email us directly, or you can connect with us by liking our Facebook account, following us on X, And going to our Instagram page, all those links down in the description below for the World of Football. Also, guys, be sure to check out our flagship podcast, This Week in the World of Football, where me and my father, the founder of the World of Football, talk about everything in the world of football, including tomorrow, because the show's going up Monday. The podcast goes up every single Tuesday. We're going to be talking national championship game. We're going to be talking complete NFL playoffs, all those matchups. We got a little bit of Pro Bowl talk probably. Firings of head coaches all over the NFL. So much happening. UFL dispersal draft. Kyle doesn't even know what those words mean, but we're going to talk about that too probably. So be sure to go check us out over there wherever you find good podcasts. And again, links and all that down in the description.
All right, that's it for us this week. Yeah, thanks for watching, listening, wherever you choose to, YouTube or whatever. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment. We might do an episode after the game versus the Rams, depending on if they win or lose. At the hotel we're staying at, I just gotta figure out how to get that all set up. So
yeah, we'll figure it out. But I'm going to be videoing our experience as we go to that playoff game. So I'm hoping, unlike I didn't get a video up for when we went to the Monday night game, but I'll try to put something together for our experience at the playoff game because it's going to be a big deal and a lot of fun. I hope.
Yep. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Hopefully we have a few more of these if the Lions win a couple more. But if not, we will have dropping episodes here or there about if news come up during the off season. So yeah, just make sure you follow the world of football for all that stuff. So yeah. But yeah, I guess that's it.
All right.
Hopefully everyone
Hey,
says a
Lions
prayer.
fans, yeah, be courteous out there, guys. I know there's a lot of fans. And some of you guys are toxic, some aren't. Like, let's all be cool. Like, there's no such thing as a real Lions fan or a fake Lions fan. Like, let's just stop that trash right now. Don't be a sewer person. Like, it's okay. You can like Stafford and you can root against him this week. You can like Stafford, and wear his jersey this weekend if you want. I don't care. Like, just be cool. Like, we don't need this toxic stuff. Like, let's go out and win a playoff game, Detroit. Let's just do that.
Yep. Remember to say your prayer Sunday morning for the Lions. And yeah. But with that, that's the end. Thank you for watching. Yeah, remember, go Lions.
Go Lions, baby.